What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. Don't forget to check out my website, ckwrapschannel.com. I'll put a link up in the top corner for you. Now, today I'm going to show you how to wrap a rear bumper. Rear bumper, more difficult than a front bumper. I'll explain why in a second. So, what you're first going to want to do is prep the surface. You're going to want to remove your taillights, and you're going to want to mask off your opposing panel, which is the quarter panel, and anything else that might get in the way. Now, the reason why the rear bumper is more difficult, in my opinion, than the front bumper is because we have a crazy transition here, a drop off of 90 degrees. A lot of them do this. We have a hard body line here, which starts off as a compound curve right around here. And then we drop off to this hard body line, flat 90, almost flat 90, all the way across. This makes it very difficult to get the slack and the extra film out of this area and across the bottom here. So we have a crazy taper across the bottom, and we have a heavy taper across the top. Focusing your stretch through this area is going to be very important. Now make sure you give yourself a nice little warm up, because we're going to need, to get stretched out for this one, because we're going to stretch out the film. It's going to be physically exerting for a brief period of time, depending on how many times you need to do this. Now it's like 100 degrees in here today. It's going to be fun. I'm only going to show you on this side of the car. The other side, whatever. This is the gist of it, okay? This is just how you're going to get your film around the bumper. The rear bumper doesn't typically have as many inlays necessary to set it up. There aren't any fog lights or reflector areas or anything like that, or license plate area on this one. This one's pretty flat, but this is the hard spot right here. Okay, so give yourself a stretch, give yourself a little warm up, get your heat gun ready, get your surface vehicle prepped, and we're gonna get to wrapping this right now. I've got my film already cut. We're gonna do this in carbon fiber, and I'm gonna do this in carbon fiber so I can show you that I'm not gonna actually distort the weave even when I do this. But what you really need to focus on is my hand placement, body placement, and how I'm pulling the film across the panel. All right, so let's get to do this. When you're doing this alone, I recommend putting 2 magnets on each side, at least 2 on one side. This is going to prevent the film from pivoting. Now, I've got the car lifted on race ramps. They're actually phenomenal. I should have got these things years ago. Helps keep the bumper off the ground, easier on your back and everything else. What I want you to notice right now is my positioning. My positioning right here is very important. It's very flat, okay? The bumper runs this way, the vinyl is running this way. It's flat across the surface right here. Next thing I need to do is remove the release liner. And we're going to do this, trying to swing it out all the way. I got the end of the roll here, so this is like the very last piece of the carbon fiber that I had. So it's kind of curling a little bit. I'm just trying to get the release liner off. There we go. And we don't want to move the film too much from its position right now. Now the taillight's out of the way because we want the film to pull through this area. If the taillight is in the way, the film will not pull through this area, and the taillight is going to resist you. And what that usually leads to is you adding tension by stretching the film up and trying to get it tucked in. And then it leads to failure. I've seen it so many times. So we're going to take this off. If you're going to get a paper cut, that's where you're going to get one. So just be careful. And we're going to try and keep this flat the best we can all the way through. Next thing we need to do is we need to set ourselves up. So I'm going to just add a little tension. Look at my hands and look at my line. We want to eliminate as many wrinkles as possible right through that middle area right there, so we don't have so much to deal with. When you're doing this alone, yes, this is going to flop around a little bit. That's all we need to do right there. From here, I can take the film, pop it up a little bit, and squeegee some of this air out. Because this is Vvivid, this is heat activated, and the adhesive is going to grab a little bit harder right off the bat than if the surface is a little bit cooler. In order to counteract the high tack on the film with the high temperatures, use Tack Reducer across the face of this. And I'll show you how to apply Tack Reducer in another video. Next thing we're going to do is set up this side. There we go. So just add a little tension. Note my line. Keep paying attention to that. And we're good. I'm not pulling that hard. just slightly. Squeegee out the air through here, and you're going to notice a similar thing from one side to the next is that we're going to be starting at the same point roughly. Right around here, sort of where the panel starts to curve a lot more. Perfect. Now for those of you who are looking for race ramps and tack reducer and stuff like that, everything will be posted in the description below. So if you're looking to grab any of that stuff, it'll all be there. Okay, we're about ready right now to just give this. We're going to take the magnets off. We're going to pull the film back. We're going to have our heat gun ready. And we're going to pull the film back to about here. Not pulling that hard, just enough to kind of snap the film off a little bit. So let's get it rolling a little bit more here until I start to see it sort of bunch is what I like. It's kind of like how I like to do it. So if the film starts to bunch up, then I'm going to stop and then start stretching, which it is sort of right around here. Okay. A trick to this is getting your hands in the position where you need them. So what we can do is we can fold the film like this, and we're going to be cutting off most of this right here. So we're going to be cutting off most of this stuff right here because our film is a lot longer than the actual bumper, and by the time we end up stretching, we're going to be stretching this about 4 or 5 inches. Pay attention to how I heat this, okay? I'm not going to really heat so much right here at the line. I'm going to heat up here, 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 and I'm not going to heat all the way back to my hands. I'm going to heat somewhere around a box, a rectangular box that's maybe a foot and a half wide from top to bottom. Consistency is very important. The goal here is to make the film as soft and pliable as you can. Slow passes, but we don't want to leave our heat gun in one spot for too long. Otherwise, we're going to end up burning through it. You have to heat back here, don't forget it. It's very important. Now, when I pull this, I'm going to exaggerate the pull so that you can see how much tension I'm getting pulled across the bottom and the top of the bumper. Let's do it. Pull, 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 pull. Perfect. Because we don't have someone to actually help keep the wrinkles away, yes, we're going to get some in the middle here. We don't want to get too many in the middle here, and mainly we don't want to have any across this hard body line right here. This hard body line is the goal to keep the wrinkles away from. Now, as I lift this up, we have to be somewhat aggressive with it. There we go. We can get all these wrinkles out. And if I stretch the film slightly, we can always shrink it back down. The goal here is to show you what it looks like when I go and heat the top and when I go and heat the bottom. That pull that I did when I came across is so important, guys. Your hand placement and positioning and things like that is very important. So we've got to make sure that we're adding enough heat through this section here, and all our pull is right through this section here. I'm going to pull out the rest of these wrinkles right here. So we pull down against the wrinkles, right? Let's get that one air bubble out there. Perfect. These ones down here are going to be difficult to get at. Notice how I don't push with just my fingers, I use my whole palm of my hand. When we do that, we're going to end up stretching the film a bit, but all we have to do is shrink it back down. A little bit of heat. Put it back into its position. Now, for the fun part. What we had to do was make sure that we're tight across the top here. Let's heat it, and we're going to shrink it. And you can see it curling in on the top side. Let's fix up some of the wrinkles over here. Perfect. Get some of these guys out right here. Excellent. Let's do the bottom. So I'm going to add a little tension to the film. And that just allows me to place it where I want it to go. When I heat the film, it's going to want to roll. So I want to keep the wrinkles away by keeping a little tension on the film. And so I've basically got this guy done in one shot. Now as I heat the bottom, that's going to curl underneath. We have no pullback when it comes to the bottom. When it comes to the top, the film is curling itself in. Look, zero pullback, okay? This is all very important. Now, if we actually have a look at the finish of the film, we're going to see that there is no transition points, and there's no starting and stopping. It is all fluent all the way through. This creates consistency, and this is what makes a carbon fiber wrap look much better in general, is when you don't have starting and stopping. All these wrinkles are very easy to deal with. I haven't dealt with them yet, but they just pull up a little bit. That's it. This one will pull out to the side. So we pull this direction. But mainly to show you what's going on around the transition here. See how everything's hugged in underneath. This means we don't have to stretch to the bottom of the bumper, which in turn leads to failure. I'm going to show you this one more time on how to actually do this. So we're going to take the film, pull it all off. We're going to shrink it all down. And I'm going to show you this pull from a lot closer. We have to go back past where we started. So we're going to shrink it all. The beautiful part about this is that if you mess it up the first time, you can do it again. As long as you don't like put a hole or a scratch in the film or anything like that, you're going to be good. All right, so I feel like the film is actually more or less back to its normal position. What I'm going to do is fold this piece again forward. We're going to ignore that because I'm going to cut that piece off afterwards once I finish it. So again, fold it forward, heat it up one more time. Note where my hand placement goes when I do this. All right, we're about ready. So I got a little tension on it. Just want to make sure the film feels soft, top to bottom, in this box that I'm heating. Grab on the bottom here, and we're going to pull. Turned out even better this time, towards the front of the car, okay? Your lower hand, you have to make sure that your lower hand is swinging around the bottom. You have to make sure that your upper hand is staying put and coming up to the top. And you have to watch the angle of the bumper. Put a magnet down on your opposing panel, and then lift out some of your wrinkles here. You just don't want to use your fingertips, okay? Using your fingertips is going to put finger marks in the film. So I like to pull up on the film, as opposed to pushing too hard with the palm of my hand or pushing too hard with my fingertips. Right here, I'll show you what's going to happen again. And even though I've done this twice now, the integrity of the film and the way the finish is still going to look good, in my opinion. There we go. And so it's just shrinking itself down and around the top side there. Let's get that one wrinkle out there. Perfect. This right here is the goal, right up top here. Same goes for the bottom. It's shrinking down and around the underside. All we have to do is pull the wrinkles out. It goes flat. We're shrunk the film down and around the panel. This is shrink wrapping the bumper. At the same time, we're also able to get all the slack out and not lead tension to the edges and get the film around the bumper, most importantly. If you can't get the film around the bumper, you're not gonna be able to wrap a bumper, right? As you can see, it's hot in here, I'm sweating. A lot of energy is exerted for that period of time. Now, what did that take me? I did 2 bumper wraps on one side in about 15 minutes or so, that's with talking and stuff like that. It doesn't take that long to get it around, guys. If you have someone to actually help you heat and pull the film taut to keep wrinkles away, this makes it even easier. You can get it around in like one shot, a lot less energy exerted, stuff like that. So this is something that I teach hands-on in the workshop, is like, we do this many, many, many times in order for you guys to get this down. This will put this video up there for you guys to actually resort back to it and remember how we were doing this. And for those of you who haven't done this yet, this gives you an idea how to actually do it. Now, again, from bumper to bumper to bumper, it's pretty much the same thing. More or less stretch, more or less heat, more or less energy kind of thing, and then setting yourself up with the inlays that you might need, that might be necessary for that bumper. I do hope this video was informative and helpful. Again, a link to the products that I'm using today in the description below. And that's it, guys. If you want to see more videos, don't forget the subscribe button. Again, thank you for watching. Take care.